friends, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen, the Family Connection podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Samantha Hayes, educator, parent, and founder of Beyond the Screen Families. And if you're anything like me, you are realizing that spring is here or quickly approaching, depending on where it is that you live. You feel it. The light starts to change. I mean, for us, it's getting lighter so much earlier, and that's my signal. Like, spring is coming, spring is here. The air shifts, it feels different, and our energy starts to rise. We get out of that, like, hunker down and be quiet and stay indoors and be under blankets until let's start going. You're probably seeing grass starting to poke up if you don't have snow blanketing you. You're seeing trees starting to bud. Spring is the best natural point for a reset when it comes to kids with screen habits. Because when the world outside becomes more interesting, screens don't have to work so hard to compete. Today, I want to share something super practical. Springtime nature challenges that spark curiosity and gently pull kids back into the real world and exploration. These aren't complicated. They don't require a big trip, and they don't require you to become a nature expert. They just require the invitation. And if you know anything about me and Beyond the Screen Families, you know we are all about creating invitations because that's where the magic happens. We create the invitation, kids take it to a whole new level, and we can step back and just be a participant or just watch and see what happens. So let's talk about first why nature matters more than ever. Nature does something screens can't. It slows the nervous system. It stimulates the senses. It offers unpredictability in healthy doses. In a digital world that's fast-paced, loud, and hyper-focused on overstimulating us, nature is regulating. And we've been talking a lot about regulating and the need for regulation in our children and for helping them to regulate because screens don't do that. Research consistently shows that time outdoors improves attention, emotional regulation, creativity, and physical health. That's why there are things like 1,000 hours outside, which is a challenge built to help you intentionally get outside more. Intentionally get your kids outside more. Here's the key. Nature doesn't compete with screens by being louder. It competes by being immersive. And I just want that to resonate with you for a second. When kids are curious, they don't ask for devices. Pay attention the next time your kids go outside and how the immersive experience can transcend the need or their perceived need for that device. So instead of thinking, how do I limit screens more? We can ask ourselves, how can I make the real world more compelling? That's where the challenge comes in. So I'm going to give you 6 spring nature challenges that you can use starting today. And if you want more, you should follow us on Instagram at Beyond the Screen Families because we'll always be sharing challenges and ideas with you there. And we have a lot on our website that can help you with challenges, from summer adventure packs to the essentials pack to digital downloads to activity boxes. There's a ton there that makes screens less compelling and real life immersive experiences more compelling. But let's dive in to our 6 ideas. Number 1 is the color hunt challenge. And this is a good one, I would say, for kids from 2-ish when they're starting to learn about their colors. Obviously, kids at the younger age band are going to need more assistance than kids at the older age, to about 8. And after 8, they start to get to this point where they're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Here's what you do. You invite your child to find as many shades of one color outside as possible. So don't just think green. That's our gut instinct. Like, go find all the green. Okay. But let's think about being more specific. Dark green, yellow green, dusty green, brown green. By being more specific about what you're asking your kids to find, the various shades of green, you are building their observation skills at a deep level. And it's playful and it's fun. It slows them down. It trains the brain to notice. Screens encourage scanning, but this activity encourages actual seeing, paying attention, and observing. Now, if your kids are really struggling with this, for you're saying go find dark green, there's a couple of things you can do. Go get the paint strips from Lowe's or Home Depot and bring them back and have your kids help you find those by matching it to the paint strip. Pom-poms, also a great idea to make this activity really doable, especially for the younger children. Okay, activity number 2 is the 10 sound sit spot. What is that? Have your child sit in one place and count 10 different sounds. They can journal about them. They can write about them. They can draw about them. So maybe they're sitting in one spot and they notice birds. Maybe they start to differentiate with those observational skills, different birds in that. And so that counts as 2 sounds. The wind, cars in the distance, leaves. Maybe there's a little bug moving. The quieter they sit, the more still they sit, the more they'll notice. Now, this one's going to probably be a little difficult at first if your kid is super active and on the go, and maybe this isn't for that child. But I want to encourage you that maybe it is. And helping your kid to sit, maybe you don't start with 10. Maybe you start with 5 sounds and you build to 10. Knowing your child, the amount of movement that they like to do and how long they'll sustain an activity is part of this. It is. Lucy! But build to 10. This builds auditory awareness and patience. So if your kid is super active, start at 3. And the next time you do this, go to 4. And the next time you go to 5. And it's going to build their patience. It's going to build their observational skills. Maybe the first few times you're modeling it with them and sitting with them and having a conversation. It also builds regulation naturally. Stillness is a muscle, and the more kids get to practice it, the easier it becomes. And most kids don't get to practice that stillness enough. So in allowing for this activity to happen, allowing for kids to sit in that stillness helps them to recalm, re-regulate, and move forward. So this can turn from a spring activity into a regulation strategy. And that's a powerful connection. Number 3, probably my favorite. If you know me, you know I'm going to say a build it challenge. This time though, don't go grab the blocks or the magnetiles or any of those things. Use natural materials. And have your kid build something like a tiny shelter, or tell them you want, like, try building a fairy house or a bridge over a puddle. The options are endless. Use natural materials and create something that is going to help an ant. I mean, you can just keep going on and on and on. It's engineering disguised as play. It's the best type of engineering because they're playing. And because the materials aren't uniform, Kids have to adapt and adjust. Adaptation builds resilience naturally. And that's a powerful life skill. There's so much going on in these challenges that help to build your kids naturally and help them to thrive in a world of sometimes chaos. And they don't even realize they're building skills because it's all play. Okay. Number 4 is the Tiny Explorer Challenge. For this one, give your child a simple mission. I want you to find the smallest thing you can. Maybe they go find an ant, a bud on a tree, a patch of moss. And if they bring you back something that's big, but you know there are tinier things, don't feel bad on pushing back and saying, can you get something smaller? Kids who are little often test this boundary a lot. I saw it as a teacher. I see it as a parent. They rush to go get something and bring it back and be like, I'm done. But if you push, they help to understand that they can iterate, that they can adapt, that they should push through that first response and go for a much deeper one. It builds those things naturally in them. When kids focus small, they actually slow down. And slowing down is what increases curiosity. This is where wonder grows. So when you're pushing back, let's say they bring you a rock and they're like, this is the smallest thing I can find. And you push back and you say, can you look for something even smaller? The curiosity in their brain starts going crazy and they're like, can I? What can I find? What's smaller than this? And you can even keep asking that question over and over and over again until they bring you something back so small and you're like, wow. Maybe you keep all of those items there so they can see, look, this is what you thought was your smallest, and this is where you ended. What a huge understanding they're getting from this. Okay, number 5 is the nature pattern hunt. This time you're going to go look for patterns. Maybe it's symmetry in the leaves or spiral shapes in nature, repeating textures. Pattern recognition builds early math skills and observations without worksheets. I'm not a worksheet fan. I really don't like them. I did not even like to use them as a teacher because there are things like this where you can build skills naturally. The math in looking for patterns is amazing, and you don't have to sit down and have a worksheet. You can get out in nature, regulate, calm, enjoy, and build math skills all at the same time. Nature is full of quiet lessons if we invite kids to notice them. And the final one, number 6, is the question walk. Instead of giving kids information, ask questions. Questions are powerful. They ignite your brain to start connecting things and making assumptions and testing ideas, all with a powerful question. So maybe it's, why do you think that tree is leaning? And there can be a whole conversation around that. Why are there more worms here than over there? Why are these flowers growing near the fence? Just questions that come to you as you're out in nature. Curiosity actually builds confidence. When kids feel capable of wondering, when they see their role model wondering, they feel capable of learning. And they go, oh, I'm going to go learn about that. It becomes exciting. It becomes powerful. So perhaps, though, you're saying, okay, that is all amazing and great, but I can't even get my kid outside. My kid resists going outside and playing. So let's talk honestly about that. Sometimes kids don't want to go outside. I see it in my own children. I've seen it with students who are like, can I please just not go out for recess? And that happens more and more today, especially if screens are an option and available. So here's what helps. Start small. 10 minutes is enough. If you've done the research on outdoor play and what it can do for you, 20 minutes is like mwah, chef's kiss, as my daughter says. 20 minutes. So even if you're starting small because your kid's resisting, why don't you just go out and play for 10 minutes and see what happens? I bet you your kid will take that 10 minutes. You don't have to go out and be like, 10 minutes is over. You just wait for them naturally to be ready to come back in. Give them a mission. Like, we're going to find 5 signs of spring. Because remember, saying go play often doesn't work in resistance. We need to help our kids with a sparker. Join in briefly. We've talked about this a lot lately too. Connection increases buy-in. Connection fosters independence. So if you join in and then step back, they get their connective moment, and then they're more likely to play longer, persist longer, and do it independently. And finally, leave screens inside. Don't bring them with you. If devices come along, nature loses. And so that also includes you, mom, dad, caregiver, grandma, grandpa, whoever you are. Leave your device inside too for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Consistency matters more than the length. The goal isn't a perfect outdoor childhood. Can't be perfect. It's regular exposure. It's helping our kids see that the real world is far better than one behind a screen. So if you love the idea of challenges and little invitations, but you don't want to constantly come up with them yourself, you should really check out our Wonder Box. The Wonder Box could be taken outside. It can be used indoors. It can be used absolutely anywhere. The Wonder Box delivers curiosity-driven invitations that make real-world exploration easier with our curiosity prompt cards. It removes the pressure of planning. It gives your child something tangible to start with, and it supports the exact skills we've talked about today: curiosity, problem solving, resilience, screen-free engagement. If you're ready to lean into spring as a reset point, the Wonder Box is an easy way to do it. Just take the whole box outside and be like, we're going to go start a prompt outside and see where that leads you. You can learn more about the Wonder Box and the link to go get it in the show notes. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with this. Screens are designed intentionally to capture attention. Nature is designed to cultivate it, and there's a big difference there. And in spring, when the world is waking up, we have a beautiful opportunity to invite our kids to wake up with it. Curiosity is contagious. So start small, start imperfectly, just start. Thanks for spending a little more of your time with me today. Here's to creating more moments that stick. Bye, friends.